million is that, yes, we, hey, Chrissy and Nicole, that's fun. The reason why $2 million is because we have purchased the business, but we still have a loan. And our intention is to be free and clear and have all of the profits to support all of our organizations, not to pay interest to a bank, but to facilitate more teachings. So, Geshe Michael has agreed to do a special calligraphy today, like he did in chapter 2, when he did Lungsem Jukpa Chikpa, which is another one of our yogi oaths, as Lydia called it. Today, he's going to be doing Chinang Tapa Sorwe. And that's talking about the combination of inner and outer methods. And then we're going to use that calligraphy to help pay down that $2 million so that we can achieve what Stevie wrote in there of saving the whole planet. Oh, and there's Geshe-la now. The show is yours.
And we're gonna write out the expression that Bob just mentioned. Say Chinang, Tabla, Sor, Prenasal, Chinang Tabla, Sor, Okay, good. Which means make great efforts, Yapna, right? In the outer and Bahir and Antar, in the outer and inner methods, okay? Upaya. So it means keep your sanyama on the inside, your focus and your understanding of seeds, and then on the outside, support it with your asana practice and your pranayama pratyahara, okay? Okay, and yama. So I'm gonna write some calligraphy. And Connie, you okay? I got the pen. Here we go. China Tabla, go back. And then I'll sign it. Okay, cool. Hey, let's pull it out the table. I'm sorry, it's blue color. Okay. And that's a special one.
And we have 3 of them here.
We have 3.
Yes.
That's the final one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, good luck with that. Yeah. I can help. Are you guys
We
gonna
have 3 of these calligraphs that we want all of you to get really excited about. So we're going to have more instructions soon of how you can work through your distributor to get that calligraph for you and your community. So stand by and get excited. And if you've noticed in Chrissy's classes, behind her was the calligraph from last time. So we will be making additional prints available too. So we'll have 3 originals and many prints. Oh yeah, hey, I'm gonna spotlight you. There you go. So there's 2 YSI instructors with their calligraph from last time. Awesome.
back? Tim, you ready? Are we on? Hi.
Yes.
Welcome back. Okay.
Clear. class today. Thank you so much for helping us with this beautiful calligraphy that Bob mentioned. I believe we'd like to start actually by giving you a gift. I hope Earl or Connie is available in the room.
We have a gift. Geshe-la.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you, yay. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
It's actually it's Veronica's favorite thing to unwrap these flowers and put them in the vases. And thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right.
So I believe we're going to go ahead and start with your class. Now that we have done the beautiful calligraphy, we're going to give you a chance to teach and hopefully get through the class 10.
Let's pray for that. Okay. Thank you, Lydia, and thank you guys for the beautiful flowers and the envelope. Thank you for that. And it makes me happy. We had a few, more than a few. We had some things to finish from last class, okay? And I don't know, Tim, we're going to start with a picture of a guy sitting in a classroom, which is 9.2, I believe. So once I got these teachings from my teacher, and he was describing how we get these special bodies, when the prana is flowing freely and the two side channels have collapsed into the central channel, then there's some transformation of your body. We talked about it like cancer, like a diamond, living diamond, a good cancer, okay, spreading throughout your body. And, I remember I lived with my teacher for 25 years. And the great thing about being close to your teacher is that, for example, I didn't own a dictionary. I would just go ask him, what's this word mean, And it's so much better. You get a beautiful commentary and you get to spend time with a master. And so I remember I was sitting, he used to sit and enjoy the sun in a room that I built for him. And he would be enjoying, and he taught this class about the prana changing and different bodies. And he talked a lot about the bubbles. You see, your bubble and my bubble. And the way he was talking about it, I started to think about astronauts and cosmonauts, right? And I saw a nice documentary about Yuri Gagarin, and from the Soviet Union, who was the first astronaut. And I was thinking about, they had these big helmets, and I thought, oh, that's a perfect example for the bubble that we live in, So then I was like, I asked my teacher, but if I'm living in a bubble, how do I meet your bubble? They said, well, how do astronauts talk? They put their helmets together and they get the two bubbles touch each other and they talk to each other, And he said, when we communicate with another person, you can think of it as one astronaut's helmet touching a cosmonaut's helmet, and then they share. They have a shared seeds for that connection, right? Why I'm talking about that is, and I remember asking my teacher, I said, if you get all your prana into the central channel, and you can kind of modify your appearance any way you want to, then I said, but I have a doubt in my mind, a paranoia. And he said, what's the paranoia? And I said, well, that means when I sit in your class, and his classes were, it was a nice group. It was about 10 or 15 students, and we worked together for like 20 years, and we all knew each other very closely. And then suddenly, I start to get this paranoia. He said, what's the paranoia? I said, how do I know that I'm not the last person in this room who didn't transform my body? Maybe everyone else is pretending right now, even online. Okay, Adrian, I know you're not. So, Sugen can't be pretending. Yeah. And then he said, he looked at me, he said, you don't know. And I said, oh, that's what I thought, you know. I'm the last person who didn't change their body yet. So if Geshe-la was the last person who didn't change their body yet, what would be the best way to help him? Ask him to teach. Then he has to work hard to review and get all those pictures ready. And then I got very paranoid when Connie asked me to teach a class. You know, now I'm really paranoid. So I say there's good paranoias and there's bad paranoia. And I think to feel suspicious, there's a word in American English we say, everyone's out to get me. Everyone in the world is trying to hurt me. And now you can switch it around. You can say, everyone in Sedona is out to help me. You know? Everyone online at the YSI class is trying to help Geshe-la because he's the retard in the back of the class. And, okay, well, I appreciate it. Okay. Anyway, logically, it's possible. You know, I like to tell my students, one person in this room already changed their body. And that's kind of a pleasant game. You can look around the room, try to guess who it is. That's kind of the normal way I teach it, but truthfully, we don't know what's the percentage in the room. You know, could be everyone except me. Okay, cool. And I think, and I encourage you not to get paranoid about it. I encourage you to feel well taken care of, like you're in the hands of some people around you. Maybe it's your wife or your husband or your children or your dog. Oh, Geshe-la, they would never show themselves as a dog. Come on. Dogs are great to body to take when you're pretending to be normal, right? Okay, so anyway, have fun with that idea. Don't get all upset, you know. Get happy. You know, there are people, if yoga is correct, if the Yoga Sutra is correct, and if people thought it was useful, means if it worked for people, then they would pass it down for 100 generations. And guess what? They did. So that means there's some possibility. And I'm not saying it's true, okay? I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying it's possible. And I'm saying you can't deny that it's possible. Okay, if you understand the Yoga Sutra, you can't tell me that I'm definitely wrong, that someone in the room, John Brady for sure, might already reach the goal. Okay, so I can be honest. I can be super honest, and I can say, look, I don't really know, and I don't know. I don't have that power. I cannot tell who in this room is. Or I really, honestly, I can't. That's why I'm the last one. No, just kidding. But I can say that if the book works, and who would pass on a book that doesn't work for 20 generations? This is such a waste of time. People don't hand down things that don't work. I don't think so. So anyway, I'm just saying, if we're very honest with ourselves and we look at it objectively, there is a serious chance that someone in this room has already reached the goal, or maybe many of the people in this room. I can say I haven't, but I'm only like 7% of the people in this room, okay? So 93, we don't know. All right, and I think that's a very pleasant state of mind. I think it's a very pleasant paranoia to have. It's very, when you're feeling down, sad, low self-esteem, nobody cares, you got to think about that. There are people around who are watching out for you. Okay. All right. The next question on the last homework was, what allows you? You know, they talk about changing your body, your skin, your bone, your flesh, changing it into like living diamond, you know. And the question is kind of, I don't know who wrote this. It's kind of silly. It says, what's the question? What is it? What allows you to change your bone and flesh and blood into something special, something maybe indestructible? The answer is seeds. I always tell the DCI teachers, whenever somebody asks you a tough question in front of 1,000 people, just go like this, like you're really thinking about it, and then say, it's a seeds, and it'll always be the right answer. Okay. All right. There's a little topic here. As I mentioned before, in the yoga tradition, in Asia, there was some kind of fascination with special powers. Okay, I don't get that much in the modern world. I don't get people come to my class and say, "Geshe-la, can you teach me to fly?" Or, I'd like to look through walls at my girlfriend or something. I don't get this. People don't come up to me and ask that. But in ancient times, maybe because there were more people who had those powers, people were more interested in it. And personally, I'm not that interested in it. I don't care if I'm walking or flying and dying from old age. If I die from old age flying, or I die from old age walking, to me, it's pretty much the same thing. So to me, those powers are not so important. But it's traditional to teach 8 powers. We're going to talk about 8 powers that you can get from prana being in the right place. And what's important to me, there's a normal version and there's a special version, okay? There's a normal version of each power, and there's a special version of each power. So I'm going to give you the normal versions first. We call them worldly powers. And again, it's just very simply because even while you are flying in the sky, time is passing, and you are closer to the day of your death and the day of going to the nursing home. What's it called? Sedona Winds. They're waiting for all of us. They get this guy, this some lady with a pen there, And so here's the 8 worldly powers. I'm repeating them because they're part of the tradition. I don't think they're that important. And I don't have those powers, and so I'm not claiming that I have them. I know it's possible to have them. but I personally don't have them, anytime. Okay, number one. There's a power called the sword, and here's a picture, right? No, there is no. Yeah, there you go. Uh, and it's a nickname for the ability to travel anywhere in the world quickly. Okay, like without an airplane. That's the first one. It's called the sword. You might see this list somewhere in an ancient book. Okay, and oftentimes they don't explain them. The pill, guess it's the blue pill or the red pill. I don't remember. It allows you to become invisible or to take on any outer form that you want. Okay, and I don't know why invisibility's been so popular over the centuries. That relates to girlfriends also, I guess. But anyway, you could walk around and people wouldn't see you. Okay, so you could just go anywhere, right? The third one is called eye ointment, like it's we call eye drops nowadays. Okay, eye drops, and that means the eye ointment allows you to see on an atomic scale or a molecule scale. You can look into the atoms of this table. Or if you ask me, my wife's driving up from Phoenix today. She took care of her sister, and like, where is she? Where did she stop for gas? And I'll say, oh, she's in Cordis Junction. Like you could see where people are far away. I got this thing called, what's it called? AirTag. You know AirTag? I said, Veronica, you need an AirTag on your purse. And she said, okay, what's it do? And I said, and I bought her one. And she said, it allows you to locate your purse. If you leave your purse at the store, you don't have to call the store. You can look on your phone and it's at the store. And she's like, oh, give me one. She said, wait a minute. Does that mean that you can tell where I am? And I'm, yeah. And she says, nah, you keep it. So, no, now she took it. Okay. The fourth one is called swift feet or fast feet. And it's the ability to travel at high speeds, like 100 miles an hour. You could run like Flash. Okay, you could run really fast. Number 5, right, is called Chulen. Say Chulen. I like this one. You can, and I've had some insight into it, but you could traditionally it's a flower. You could take a flower like a rose, and you can dry it. And there's a little ball. When a rose is dried, it's called rose hips. It's a little ball and it has little seeds inside. And you could open up that little ball of dried rose and take one of those little grains, seeds inside, and put it on your tongue and hold it there and then swallow. And then you wouldn't have to eat that day. That's all you have to eat, And it requires, that transformation requires a very strong sanyama, okay? And I saw a funny thing in a magazine one day. I was like, so 2 guys in Europe, I'm not saying the country, they're like, we're gonna try this. And they got some flowers and they dried them and then they said, okay, March 1st, no more food. And they did it for like, I don't know, they did it for like 10 days or 12 days. And they looked like starving. They looked like skeletons. And they were so excited. They said, look, we did Chulen. And I'm like, that's not Chulen, okay? If it was Chulen, you would look normal. You would look like you had a good breakfast every day, So So I'm not telling you to try these things, okay? They are not worth your time, okay? If you spent that time studying about good seeds, then you could really have some miracles in your life. Okay, number 6, is it? Yeah, skywalking, which is the ability to fly in the blue sky. Of all the what akashas, of all the four skies, four spaces, we're talking about the ability to walk through the sky, fly through the sky. Okay, G. It's again a power to become invisible called disappearing. How does it differ from the pill number 2? Number 2 allows you to choose your form. So you could look like a cat, or you could look like I don't know, a general or something. And then number G, A, B, C, D, E, and number 7 is just the ability to disappear when you want to disappear. This is good when your wife asks you to wash the dishes or something. But most men have this one already. All right, right? All right, number 8. And I don't know why this is so important, but they say it's called underground sawok, and it's a power that you can walk under the ground. Okay, so you can walk from here to the coffee shop. If you don't want to meet anybody on the way to the coffee shop, you could go underground without a tunnel. You just walk through the solid earth. Okay, and so those are 8 common powers. Again, I don't have them like that, and I don't, and I was taught by my teachers that they're not very important. But it's useful to know different teachings because you can attract different kinds of people. And somewhere in the world, there's a person who will do yoga if they believe they can get these 8. And then you can trick them into becoming healthy. Okay, so I'm just saying the reason there are all these teachings is oftentimes it's just to attract people who think that's cool. And there are people like that, okay? And I can see where it might be helpful. I mean, if you wanted to rescue somebody from a car accident, you go underground and take them and help them and something like that. I don't know. Okay. Then we talk about transforming those 8 worldly powers into special powers, and these are useful powers. These are meaningful powers. Okay, so let's talk about those 8. Okay, and first one, it's called like special body, or I don't know, what do you call it? Like a special body that you can get. Okay, and that body has the ability to multiply itself. Okay, and I always I don't know why I always have this vision of a lady in, there's one old lady in Beijing, and then there's another old lady in LA, and they're both sad, and they don't have relatives, and they don't have friends, and you want to make them feel better. Then if you have this special body, you could appear in Beijing as their cat, the cat for the lady in Beijing. And then you could be the Chihuahua for the lady in LA. And one person sitting in Sedona or sitting in Shenzhen, they could make those 2 ladies happy at the same time. And it sounds funny and it sounds like a small thing, but it's not. It's a wonderful power. You could spread happiness across the earth if you had this power. So that's a valuable thing, right? You could let your emanation do yoga, and you could have a donut, for example. Okay. All right. Number B. This is called special speech, special talking. And I like this. Anytime you meet somebody, you have the power to figure out what they need to know. Okay, you can kind of read their mind, and you can see what they need to know right now, and then you can speak to them and give them what they need to know, even in a language which you don't know. Okay, so you have the power to. We call it speaking in tongues, right? You can speak all languages. Sarva Bhutaruda, yeah, you can speak in all languages. I like this example. Okay, I'm sorry. So I rode the bus to New York City for 25 years because I didn't want. I was donating all the money that I made, and I didn't want to buy a car. And I made a huge salary. I made a really good salary, and I wanted to give as much to charity, to people who needed it. So I didn't buy a car. I didn't have a car, so I had to take the bus. And it was 2 hours into New York, and it was 2 hours back, 4 hours a day. And I used the time. I did my sadhana, and I did my meditations, and I did a huge translation of Abhidharma and a dictionary, like 1,000-page dictionary, and I had some good sleep. That's how I learned to sleep in a chair, which is a useful skill. So one day on the way home, I took the express train, okay? I mean express bus. So it would almost go to my house. I had about a 10-minute walk after the bus stop. But so it didn't stop almost the whole way. But one day the bus broke down about 5 miles from my house, and the bus driver tried to fix it, and it was late at night. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I used to get home at 10, 12, and get up at 4 or 5 and do the same thing over. And he said, "Everybody out of the bus. Good luck. I'm sorry, it's not going to work." And there was nothing there except a bar, a strip bar. So I've never been in a strip bar. And I had to use the telephone. We didn't have cell phones in those days, okay? So I'm like, okay. And I walk in there, and it was pretty bad. And I sat down and asked the bartender, "Can I use your phone?" And he said, "Okay." And so I was in this bar sitting with all these guys. They're watching a football game. And I thought about this line. A strange thing popped into my head. I said, let's see if I can talk strip bar language, And I don't know why, I just got inspired, I said, let's see if I can. Russian is easy, right? Русский язык очень легко. How do you say compared to? Если сравнить, что такое язык в баре, да? So I said, Russian's easy. Let me try strip bar language. I said, "Hey man," he said, "What?" I said, "Hey, did you see the quarterback in the last one? I can't believe they let him do that." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it either." And then I got to talk around the seats, and it was really cute, And then I came out of the strip bar. Art picked me up. And he said, "How was that?" I said, "Well, I was exploring philosophy." And so it's an important ability to speak to people in their own language. And sometimes it's your language, but it's how you talk to them. And I think it's a sign of a great yogi if you can talk other people's language, I know it's New Year's in China. I know everybody's going home to see your parents. So don't talk about the Yoga Sutra. Tell your mom the kanji is really good. The pork's a little salty. And speak their language, okay, and help them in their language. And that's a skill of a yogi. Okay, sarva bhutarutas jnanam. Speak other people's language. Okay, so we got body, speech. Guess what's next? Mind. Yeah, special mind. And that's where you have two abilities at the same time. You can see all the things there are to see in the world, and at the same moment, which is difficult, you understand that they are coming from your seeds. Okay, so that's special state of mind. All right. Number four, yeah, is called the ability to perform miracles. Okay, and you know the standard miracles: walk on water, turn water into wine, walk in the sky. You know, other things like that. Okay. Number five is the ability to reach all places and all times. You can travel to different times, and that's really useful if you want to help people, right? Okay. Fulfilling all wishes is the ability to know what people are hoping for and to make it happen for them, or to help them make it happen. Okay, which is usually teaching them the seeds to that they can get what they want. Okay. What are we on? Seven. Yeah. Uh, if you get good at these powers, you can emanate. You can produce bodies, other bodies, and there's a special level of that where you could produce a country, and then you could produce a population of the country, all coming from you. Now you get real paranoid. Maybe everybody in all the countries is already there except me. Okay, so there are people who have these powers to create an illusory world populated by billions of people, and it's coming from them. So if that's possible, then the paranoia goes to a new level, right? All right, number 8. A person who can see all things in all times has 10 separate powers. They're called 10 extraordinary powers. And if you want to know those, you have to get the Mixed Nuts book coming out pretty soon by Ben Kramer. Okay, and he has a long story, a long presentation in his book about the 10 powers. Okay, all right. Next picture, Tim. This person's okay. I was trying to find somebody putting a computer together. Then later I realized it's probably a tank or something, but okay, that's all right. This represents consciously assembling a new mind. Okay, consciously assembling, putting together a new mind. And in the Yoga Sutra, Master Patanjali says you will gain mastery over the main thing, which is your mind, the messenger of the mind. Okay, he calls it the messenger of the mind. Okay, and again, this is a reference to the capacity to see all things, past, present, and future, which makes you a better helper of people. Okay, if you can see where they came from, what was their. The psychologists are always trying to figure out what happened to you as a kid that you have all these problems. You know, they say I don't remember, and then they say, well, if you're this kind of psychologist, you say, well, you know, back in. Okay, they're all young, right? Back in the old days, 1999 or something. You know, you had this fight with your brother, and that's why you're messed up. You know, something like that. And I can tell you how it's going to get fixed in the future. All right. That involves a deep understanding that your own mind is coming from seeds. That's all. You can do it if you understand that your own mind comes from seeds. Now, look, I'm on a roll, Connie. I'm going to finish today's homework. And I know it's frustrating when Geshe-la doesn't finish the homework, and the teachers have to figure out where he stopped, and I apologize for that. I don't know. It just doesn't work out that way for me. If there's a story there. Okay. The last homework and the last part of this chapter talks about kula, say kula.
Kula.
And I know Earl talked about it a bit, but I'd like to just go into it a little more. So kula means a family, like an extended family, like in Mexico, all the uncles. I went to the wedding of, whose wedding was that? In Guadalajara. I did the wedding. No, it was
Singapore.
the lady who does all the building houses for poor people. Laura. And her husband's a senator, or used to be a senator or something. Anyway, not Marco. Anyway, it was I was the priest at a Mexican wedding, and wow, that's cool. Like 12 uncles and 34 aunts, and it was cool. It was really interesting. So that's a kula, okay? A kula means a big extended family. And the cool thing is, if you follow the Ashtanga, if you learn the second and third chapter well, and you do these 8 practices, then yeah, it's Hema Santana, yeah, that's true. Then if you learn these 8 practices, then something happens at some point where you catch the eye of people who are already there. Okay? And it's some kind of weird thing. Like they say, I don't know, I guess they're sitting in the Starbucks in the enlightened realm, and then suddenly someone goes, hey, somebody's close. Somebody's getting close, you know? And they're like, what, really? And they say, yeah, you know, there's these people in Shenzhen, or I don't know, Guangzhou, and they were watching the Yoga Sutra, and they got it. And now look, suddenly their practice is really good, which means a little practice every day, okay? A lot of practice sometimes doesn't do anything, okay? I'll say it again. 5 hours, 10 hours of practice once a month doesn't do anything, okay? Just a small practice. We went to the gym today. It's like, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour. But we go every 2 days, you know. And we all feel great. And you know, it's nice. So a regular small practice is extremely powerful. And a big noisy practice that only happens once a week, you're just wasting your time, okay? You're just wasting your time. So I really encourage you, even 15 minutes, even 20 minutes, okay? Even just stretch. I have a friend, they don't want to do yoga. I said, just stretch, okay? Let's stretch together. And we stretch for 15 minutes. I said, okay, that's good, stop. But let's do it every day, you see? And then it makes a big difference, okay? So if you do your Ashtanga, if you do your practice daily, just 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't care, then the big people notice you. You know, they're like, hey, somebody's doing a regular practice. Oh, really? Where? Oh, look, in Guadalajara. Ooh, nice. That's the Garden City. It's the same temperature all year, the only city in the world. Right? 70 to 75 Fahrenheit. The whole year. It's disgusting. No cold, no hot. Anyway, look, somebody's practicing daily, every day. They're doing their Ashtanga. And then the whole Kula, the Godfathers, I see it like Godfathers, the mafia bosses. They're like, hey, look, Louis, there's people doing their regular practice. Oh, now we got a new member in our family, okay? And they say, oh, the Kula is growing. That's so cool. Okay, that's so cool. The Kula is growing, okay? Just before you get in the Kula, okay, and there's a homework question here. If you start making great progress, there's a certain danger, and it's a very famous yoga danger. Okay, you start getting good in your asana, you start your pranayama takes off, your pratyahara is really, really good, and then you get self satisfied, okay, and you park in yourself, you know, and you start to lose interest in helping other people. You're like, I'm fit, I can do a headstand, you know, my meditation's really good. God, that's a good life. That's the good life, you know. And then there's this danger. They say it's a very serious danger that if your practice goes too well for too long, you might get selfish. Okay, you might get self-centered about, oh, my workout is so good, or my yoga is so good, or you know, my meditation is so good, and you sort of build a wall around yourself, and you start to forget about other people. Okay, and frankly, there the kula kicks in, the family kicks in, and there's this very fascinating description in the ancient books, like if you start to get successful in your yoga practice and your meditation is going good, and you start to think, how cool am I? And you start to forget about other people. Maybe you go to the gym twice a day. I know somebody that they do full yoga twice a day, you know, and they just kind of forgot about other people, you know. So there's a very beautiful description in the ancient books of kula. And in this case, kula means, I don't know, I mean, we have to study it more. In the mixed knots classes that start February 7th, I think it's in Tim's book, but supposed to be these beautiful, perfect, compassionate people come and tap you on the shoulder or something like that. They're like, hey, get up, you know. What? We got a message from the kula. And you're like, what's the kula? The kula is the family of cool yogis. Oh, what's it got to do with me? The kula says, wake up. Stop being so selfish, okay? You're making us look bad. And that's so funny. That's such an interesting idea that there's such a thing. Your seeds from your practice create a family with a messenger who, like FedEx, Kula, yogi information. And they bang on your door and they come, and supposedly it happens during a meditation. And they actually do shake you, and they say, look, you know, you went the wrong way. You are embarrassing the kula. You know, the kula, the goal of this kula, of this family, is to serve all the people in the world, is to take care of all the people in the world. And you're making us look bad, you know. You're a yogi, you know the Ashtanga, you're doing asanas, you're doing your meditation, and you're embarrassing us. Okay, so remember your family. Don't forget your family. You have to make your family proud. Oh, our yogi, our yogini, man, she's out there. You know what Ellie does on the weekend? She drives old people to the grocery store. I like call her up. I said, let's go out to dinner. She's like, no, Gesla, I can't. And I'm like, why not? I got offended, you know. And she says, well, I'm driving this old lady to the grocery store today. And I'm like, wow, that makes a family proud, right? I don't care if you could do a headstand. If you won't drive old people to the grocery store, you're an embarrassment to the kula. Okay, cool? All right, what's left here? Oh, I think you went over the words for daughter and son of the kula, right? You did? Okay, Okay, good. Okay, so it's kula du hitter. Say kula du hitter. That's a if so. Once you're in the kula, once you're in the family of yoga, good people, they give you a new name. It's kula du hitter. Say kula du hitter, and that means daughter of the family. And boys are called kula putra. Say kula putra. Okay, good. So you guys heard those words in like Shariputra means son of Sharadvati. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. So once you start practicing the Ashtanga, please be sensitive to the idea that you are part of a bigger family. Okay. And I think that applies very importantly to not causing trouble for the rest of the kula. Okay. And I've been in many groups in my life. I've tried to organize many groups in my life, and it seems like there's always a selfish person or two who does something that hurts the whole family, you know. And oftentimes they are just doing what they want to do. And for example, if there's a law in your country that you can do this, but you cannot do that, or you would have a religious group, then you have to there's the procedure in our country. And then there's always one or two people, and then the right thing to do is go to the government, tell them if you are a religious group, which we are not. But then there's always some people who will cause a problem for everybody. Okay, so try to, when you are studying yoga, try to remember you are part of a bigger family, and if you don't act responsibly or correctly or legally, then you cause trouble for a lot of other people, and it's big trouble. It can be big trouble. Okay, and so try to remember this last part here of the third chapter. We're all a member of a kula now. We are a kula of people who are trying to practice the eight parts of yoga. So don't mess up the whole family. Don't be selfish and do something which is not allowed or which is going to hurt the whole family. Stick to the laws of your country. Stick to the policies of your country, and stick to them with happily. Okay, your country is taking care of you. They get you food, they get you water, they make your internet, they build the highways, they have an army to protect you. So honor your country and listen to your leaders. They are your leaders, and you agreed to that. You're in that country. Okay. All right. Last thing. There's an interesting description of what happens to us in the final moments, just before the cancer spreads everywhere and the whole body becomes living diamond. Okay, and that's a beautiful description. Moment number one, they describe it as three moments, three crucial moments. Okay. The first is that you go back and again, okay, listen. The books about this are hard to read. The books about this subject are hard to read, and this part of the class will be hard to listen to. Why? We aren't even close. So they're talking about something that we can't even guess what it's like. And I had trouble when I was learning to translate these books. I would go for 6 months and there wouldn't be one sentence about anything that I could experience. And it's extremely difficult to translate that, like whole book about something I didn't know what they're talking about, because it never happened to me. Okay, so it's difficult. This homework question is difficult because we're asking you to describe three important moments that you have no idea what they're like. Okay, so here's the description. What I'm saying is, don't get frustrated that you don't know what the heck they're talking about. Okay, that means you're learning something new. Yay! Okay, here we go. Number one, there's a moment towards the end of your evolution when you go into direct perception of emptiness again, okay, or but for a longer period of time, okay, and you're staying there, okay. And how you get there from seeing emptiness directly once is called viveka, and now we got that word, Tim. This is a famous Sanskrit word. Say viveka. Viveka. And it means discriminate. Okay. In a normal sense, it means he's tall, he's short, this is red, this is black, this smells good, that smells like poo poo. You divide things. Your ability to divide things is called viveka. But on a higher level, okay, in the three moments that we're talking about, it's the ability to understand that the way things look to you is not the way they are. Okay, the way things look to you is not the way they are. Okay, and I'll tell you, I know I'm over time, I'm sorry, but we're gonna finish. Okay, so I remember sitting in this class. I was in that chair, okay? I used to be in that chair. And I remember the teacher talking about this stuff. You need viveka. I said, what's that? You gotta understand the difference, not between tall and short, not between black and red, not between sweet smell and bad smell. I want you to know the difference between what's real and what's not real. And I'm like, whoa, that's a big viveka. Yeah. Then I said, so you say the door is not real, right? He kept saying everything in this room is not real. I got upset. I got frustrated. And I'm like, excuse me. And he's like, they don't like to be interrupted. They're like, what? And I said, I just, you keep saying nothing's real. And it's driving me crazy, you know. And I said, there's the door, right there. And in 10 minutes, you're gonna stop and we gotta have refreshments. He always stopped at exactly the same time. We're all like, you know, I said in 10 minutes, 10.0 minutes, you're gonna stop, we're gonna open that door and we're gonna relax and have some refreshments. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, is the door real or not? You know, cause I wanna go through that door, you know. And he said, well, I'm like, oh boy. And he said, in one way it's real, and in one way it's not real. And you need viveka. You need viveka. So I said, okay, in what way is it? Let's start with real. Okay, that's more comfortable. And he said, real means it's a real door. If you don't think so, go bang your head on it. And you'll get a real bump on your head from the real door. So I'm not saying the door's not there. And I'm not saying there's not a real door there. There is a real door there, okay? So I said, well, what's the unreal door? He said the unreal door is the one that doesn't come from you, just like the two husbands in the kitchen, okay? So there's a real door, which is coming from your seat. And then there's a door that's not real, which is the door that's coming from its own side. That's all. And if you can tell the difference, you got viveka. And you can get to the first crucial moment when you drop into direct perception of emptiness again. But you got to keep practicing this viveka. You got to keep thinking about the difference. So, you know, you can keep doing that all day long. Oh, where's the real coffee cup? Ah, it's coming from my seeds. Good hustle seeds. And then, where's the unreal coffee cup? Oh, that's the one that came from the coffee shop. Okay, got it. And then I have Viveka. I'm separating the real one from the not real one. Okay, that when you get good at that, you approach the first moment. Okay, what's the second moment, Gisela? When your seeds get really good, the unreal door stops appearing. Okay, when your seeds get really good, you don't need Viveka anymore because all you can see is the real door. The one you look at the door and you say, "Oh, a seed door," and you don't say, "Oh, it looks like it's not a seed door, but it is a seed door." You don't have to worry about it because at a high level, and I told you it's difficult to talk about. Okay, don't blame me. At a high level, the door doesn't look like it's coming from its side anymore, and that's a very high level. Okay, even while I'm explaining the pen to you, that it's not coming from its own side, you feel what the thing in my hand is coming from its own side, even while I'm explaining why it's not. Okay, and the day I don't have to explain it to you anymore, that's the second moment. Okay, got it? Okay, no more Viveka. But lots of Viveka before that. Okay, all right. What's number 3 here? Oh my gosh. Where is it? It's disappeared. Oh, there it is. Yeah. The end of the second moment, the end of that time in your life is that your body changes into perfect, okay? Diamond, all living diamond. And as we said, you don't have to take a long march rocket. What do they call them in Russia, in Russian Federation? What's the famous rockets? I don't know. Who knows? Okay. Nah. So anyway, but it's good. Sputnik was the first satellite in the world. So anyway, at the end of the second moment, you get your body changes. Okay, but it's not finished yet. Why? You can't send out other bodies yet. You can't send out other bodies yet. So it's a very interesting discussion that's over our head. They're like, you're up to number 2? Yeah, congratulations, but you ain't there yet. And you're like, what? You gotta hit second number 3. How long does it take? 65th of a second. Why do you bother to split 2 and 3 if the difference is a 65th of a second? Well, it's important. The body, the perfect body, allows the other ones to come out. It has to be there first. And in the next millisecond, you appear on all worlds at the same time to help people. And if you want to know the inside story, you kind of get assigned your own specialty planet. Okay? And you're kind of sitting over that planet. And it's kind of like, this is hustle world, hustle planet. I'm not kidding, okay? And I know it sounds funny, but it's a big honor, right? They come up, they say, okay, here you go. You just earned your own planet, you know? You're like, yeah, okay, I can take care of that. It's like having a baby. All right. What else we got here? I think we got one more homework question. You didn't cover the two realities. Okay. If the door can be a real door and a not so real door, and if you need Viveka for a long time to tell the difference, then you can kind of say we live in 2 worlds. Okay. There's the world where husband number 1 lives, where things look like they're coming from themselves. Okay, got it? We call it the lie world, the deceptive world. Okay, it's a lie. Everything there is a lie. it looks like the pen is coming from the pen. It looks like the husband is coming from the husband. Okay, that's called the lie, the big lie. Okay, and then there's the real world. We could call it ultimate world, where there's only one husband, and that's the husband who's coming from you. Okay, got it? It's very simple. The same world could be two worlds, right? Part of the world is lying to you and says, "Look, I come from my side," and then there's another world which grows inside this world of things that are coming from you. Okay, got it? That's easy, right? No problem. By the way, when you get to the end of these chapters, at the end of each chapter, they start talking about how it's going to be when you get to the end. And the nature of that information is totally foreign to all of us. It's, you're describing somebody that you never met. And it's difficult, okay? If you feel lost towards the end of the third chapter, you are listening well. Okay? Got it? If you don't feel lost, I think you were thinking about something else. Okay, last thing. It's Kaivalya. Okay, say Kaivalya. And we're going to talk more about this in the fourth chapter. Okay, so don't forget, the Yoga Sutra has 4 chapters. And I think it's in July, is it, Connie? Or August? August 22nd. We'll do the 4th chapter together. And it's and then you can finish the Yoga Sutra and we'll go on deeper. Okay. So the final words of the 3rd chapter talk about Kaivalya. Kaivalya means total purity. Okay, say Kaivalya. Okay. It comes from 2 words, ka and iva, which means just that. Okay, just that. And the purity here is that your understanding that the world is coming from you gets infected by something we haven't talked a lot about, which is compassion. Okay, like your body has changed, but then there's this new element in your body that it disturbs you deeply that other people are hurting. It's very disturbing to you that other people are suffering so badly. And I'm not talking war and hunger and COVID. I'm talking life. Like life kills everybody. Somebody made a joke to me, some doctor. Hey, Gesla, what's the best word to describe life? I said, what? He said, terminal disease. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it always ends the same way, So if you reach these very high levels and you finish the 3rd chapter, which I congratulate you, you have just finished the 3rd chapter. And by the way, to have the seeds to finish the 3rd chapter is extremely rare. Okay, so I don't want to get any more emails. Gesla, how many unanswered emails you have? I like to keep you up to date. Where are they on here? Oh yeah, here they are. 105,198. Okay, you can check. 105,198. Okay, I don't want to get any more emails from people who say, I guess I feel bad about myself, or I'm depressed, or I have low self-esteem, or I feel sad all the time. And I say, I almost said a bad word, but Earl's teaching me to control myself. BS, that's BS, okay? You had the goddamn karma to hear the whole 3rd chapter. Don't tell me you're nobody, okay? One person in 10 million has enough good seeds to hear the 3rd chapter, to get to the end of the 3rd chapter, which just happened to you. So if being the best person out of 10 million people is not good enough for you, Send your email to somebody else. Okay? I say you're special. You know, I say you are goddamn special. Okay? And I'm not kidding. I'm not just trying to stop the emails. I'm saying, you know, be happy, okay? Do a good coffee meditation. Oh, YSI is in my life. Connie, Bob, Earl, Lydia, all these cool people. Tim Lowenhout is in my life, you know, who's doing countless things to help all of us. And then he says, Gishla, you got anything more for me? Can I be a translator too? Like, I don't think he sleeps. You know, he's got how many cats? 3 cats. I have constant conversation with the 3 cats. They tell me you're not sleeping enough. And he took care of all the filming here for us. And he's busy. And he's got huge projects all over the world. And he went to YSI, to the boss, Connie, and he said, you have anything I can do? Can I help you guys? And she gave him a small job, which is to film everything and set up all the equipment and stay here for hours after hours. So I think we should give him a hand. Yay. So congratulations on finishing the 3rd chapter. I'm not kidding that your seeds are extremely rare to hear the 3 chapters, even the 3 chapters of the Yoga Sutra. By the way, chapter 4 is, everybody knows, it's dessert. Okay? It's like, you're done with the meal, okay? You got the important information. If you die today, you're fine. Okay? But the 4th chapter is a delicious dessert in which we go deeper into some beautiful clarifications of the first 3 chapters. Okay, Lydia, you got questions for me? We have a little time.
Amazing. We definitely have questions for you, Geshe-la.
Yay.
We got one today that's very interesting. Let me put this in the chat for our translators. And our question is, when Ken Rinpoche would say cook it, do you think he was referring to Sanyama?
So my teacher, by the way, things are getting better. When I was a student, you weren't allowed to ask questions. I mean, I remember asking 2 or 3 questions in 25 years. And I think they were important questions. But you know, if we looked confused at the end of the 3rd chapter, my teacher would just say, go home and cook it, you know, cook it. Pachate. Cook it. Cucina comes from that. Kitchen comes from that. Cocina comes from that. Kitchen, yeah. Cuisine comes from that. He'd say, cook it, you know. And what it meant was, and I think it's an important thing, there's 2 ways to learn things. You know, the teacher can tell you everything, and the teacher can explain everything one by one, and the teacher can answer every possible question that you might have. And that's not our lineage. Okay? Our lineage says, incite questions in the student's mind. You know, like trigger a question in the student's mind and then dump them. Like run away. And the good students are gonna get together and say, God, you know what he's talking about? Let's ask him. No, you can't. He refuses to answer any more questions. He said, I got 2 minutes and 36 seconds left. That's it. You know, so what are we gonna do? And then the great teachers that I've known, they'll say, you guys talk it over, okay? You can get the answer. I gave you enough information. You can answer any question by talking to each other. And that kind of ignites a beautiful fire in the student's mind. And that is cooking. Okay? It means meet together with other YSI students and talk. And you having a good teacher will give you enough information to figure it out yourself if you talk to your friends. You're cooler. Okay, last question, Lydia.
Okay, our last question is going to be from Vivian, and she would like to know, I only have 10 minutes to do a fire offering every day. What's the different result between the fire offering and the 4 powers? How can I be most effective in the 10 minutes I have to strongly clean the bad seeds?
Okay, good. So there's an old custom, I think all over the world and in many different countries. There's a tradition in many countries. I saw it in Mexico. I saw it in Thailand. Of burning something to represent burning your mistakes, burning up the mistakes you have made. And I think it's a great tradition. And I don't know why, but it just feels good to me if I write down a mistake that I made, okay, and I burn it in a fire. And I think, okay, I'm finished with that kind of behavior. It doesn't work, okay? The fire doesn't burn those seeds if you don't do the 4 powers, okay? If you don't do the 4 powers at the same time and you just throw papers into a fire, it doesn't do much, okay? It doesn't do much. What's the essence of the 4 powers? What's the most important of the 4 powers? Nice. What's the essence of the 4 powers? What's the single most important power? Restraint. Yeah, it's a commitment not to do it again. Okay, the commitment not to do it again. So, if you have that emotion in your heart, when you burn a piece of paper with your, you write down something bad you did, and you burn the piece of paper, and you make a commitment in your heart not to do it again. Okay, then the fire works. Then burning it works. Okay. I'll say one other thing about that, and I feel strongly about it. I have made mistakes my whole life. I've made serious mistakes my whole life. I've made big mistakes, and I've gone to my teacher. I mean, my teachers told me, okay, you can keep it secret, and you can write it down, and you can burn it, but that's not the best way to clean it, And I'm like, well, what's the best way to clean it? And they said, you go to your teacher and you tell them what you did. And so there's different ways to tell your teacher what you did. I was a master at beating around the bush method. So I'd say, teacher, are you hungry? Yes. Hey, you want to have some momos? Yeah. And some butter tea? And I did this yesterday. Okay, I'll go and fix it. And I say, what'd you say? And I said, oh, no, don't worry. So I would tell, when I was young, with my teacher, I would try to tell him what I did, but I was so embarrassed and I was so shy that I wouldn't tell him clearly. I would just tell him sort of unclearly, and then finally I realized I was cheating myself. If you really want to get rid of the seed, you got to be shameless in your confession to your teacher. Okay, you got to go to your teacher and say, I did this. And they say, what? And I say, listen, I did this. You want to know how I did this. And the way I was thinking at the time, wait, you can't believe it. And then, and give them all the detail, And I'll tell you something, from many, many years of practice, okay, many years of trying to control my bad seeds or get rid of my bad seeds, you know, even now, I have a teacher staying in my house, and I go to them and I say, look, I did this and I did this, and you always feel like, oh, it'd be better to keep it secret. You know, it'd be better. They're gonna have a bad opinion of me if they know everything I'm thinking or everything I'm doing. But I'll tell you something sweet, okay? If you are totally honest and you really confess to anybody, okay, except your cat, Tim. But if they say the other person has to koa, they have to be able to understand what you're saying. Go to someone that you respect. I like to tell John Brady stuff I've done. I respect him. He's a compassionate person in my experience. And then I feel comfortable to say, look, you know, I made this mistake. So I really, really encourage you. The fire is not going to burn the seed. What's going to burn the seed and help you not to repeat your mistake is to tell someone you really respect. And by the way, don't tell a blabbermouth. I'm not saying you have a blabbermouth means someone who's going to tell everybody else all your bad stuff the next day. Okay, I that's not part of confession. Okay, you are not required to tell blabbermouth. Blabbermouth means someone who's going to tell everybody in your kula what you did, and they're going to make it sound bigger also, because they love to tell secrets, you know. So try to talk to a good friend. What's that called? Who's discreet. Okay, and so confession doesn't mean you have to print on the internet everything you're thinking that's negative, okay? But it does mean that you should have a compassionate and spiritually healthy friend that you can say, look, I have this addiction, or I have this bad habit, or I do this kind of bad thing, and I'm trying to stop. And then they will help you, you know, they will help you. And so that's so much better than burning a piece of paper, okay? Because then you have someone to talk to. Look, John, I had a bad day. Connie worked me too hard. I was exhausted. I made this mistake in my practice. And then John will say, yeah, it's okay. Next time do this, you know? Then you get feedback. So choose we call a spiritual friend, right? Choose a good friend who's a good person, okay? And look for a good person. Don't look for a handsome person or a sexy person or someone you want to talk to, or, you know, look for someone who's a good person. And I had when I was young, long ago, at Princeton, I used to go to the Christian church there because that's how I grew up. And I used to go to the Christian church. And so I got, after a couple of years, they said, will you be on the board of the Episcopal Church of Princeton? And I'm like, yeah, that's a great honor. They chose 1 or 2 students every year. So I was on the board, and they said, the priest is leaving. We're losing our priest, who was a very good priest. And he's going to Episcopal Theological Seminary in Boston. And, you know, we got to choose a new one. And since you're on the board, you're on the selection committee. So I'm like, okay. And we interviewed like 10 priests, you know, and how old was I? 18? And I'm interviewing priests, you know, and this guy's like, oh, I was the president of this, and I was the, you know, I got a degree from here, and he looked really good, you know, and we actually they had to do sample speeches. So at the local church, I think it's called Trinity Church in Princeton town. They allowed us to try out people in front of a crowd, So they had a crowd every week, and he was very handsome and very eloquent, And then a couple guys like that, and then came this guy. He's like all white haired, and he's kind of shaking a little bit, and he looks like he's 100, And we're like, what's your name? And he gave us his name. And we said, well, what's your story? And he said, where are you? Where's your church? And he said, well, I don't really have a church. And we're like, well, where are you the priest? And he said, I'm in New York, in the Bowery. Bowery is where all the drunks used to lie on the street. And he says, I'm in the Bowery. And we said, I'm going to cry. I said, how long? He said, 15 years. I've been walking around the Bowery and just helping drunk people, And we said, well, how did you do that? He says, I used to lie on the street there. That's how I got my white hair. I'm 40 years old. That's how I was a drunk, And I got over it, and I fought so hard, and that's who I am. And I'm sorry to waste your time, We're like, you're the man. We want you, And we took him, and he was a very wonderful priest. He's still going. He's like 80 something, and we grabbed him, We said, so what am I saying? The ancient books say a person who had a bad habit, or you were not so nice, or you did terrible things, and then you work on it, and it's not going to go away in a day. It's going to take years of hard work. They said that's like the moon when the clouds cover the moon, and then they suddenly open, and the moon goes, here's the moon. And you're like, wow, so beautiful, So you can see a little shining behind the clouds, but then the clouds suddenly open. And those people who have had bad habits, bad addictions, bad behavior, and they work on themselves, that's who we want to be and we hired him. I was so proud of the committee, right? So, all right, last question, man. Oh, so confession better to a person than a fire. Okay? And choose a good person, okay? Choose a good person who can help you. And don't be shy. Trust me, most people know who you are. They're just too polite to talk about it. Okay? So it's better to be totally honest. I got this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem. And then you can fix it. But if you hide it, you can't fix it. Okay? All right. Last question.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. We're going to take the last question as the last question, and we have a couple things that we would like to share with you. Do you have gallery view in studio? Can you see all of us?
I do.
Okay. We would like.
I can see Bob Serino, Sugang. I see Teacher Jenny Wong.
We would like you to please teach us.
Hi, Shintian. Yeah. Oh, nice. Thank you very much. Hi, Stanley. Hi, Christian. Hi, Lisa Lee. I love you. Okay. Yeah. Oh, is that Vimla? Oh, yeah. Catherine. Hi. Hi, Bob Serino. Wow. Nice. Okay. Cool. I see Sabrina. Hi. Okay. All right. Thank you. I agree. I'm very happy to teach chapter 4. Okay. If I don't, Connie's going to kill me anyways. So I got to do it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we have one more thing we would like to share. Tim has a cute video for everybody. He's going to
Yay.
share it for all of us Zoom, and he's also going to share it for you there in studio. And it's just with an open heart and a huge thank you that we want to share this with you and say thank you so much. Please stay with us. We appreciate everything that you share.
Yay, video.
Where's the video?
Basically, 10 reps will build up muscle.
Hello, I'm Alex from the Yoga Studies Institute.
Hi there, yogis. I'm Teresa from YSI, and I'm so happy of being part of this Yoga Sutra Chapter 3 course.
Hey there, this is Paola. I'm an asana teacher for the Yoga Studies Institute.
Hi everybody, my name is Eva from the Yoga Studies Institute.
Hi everyone, Nicole here. Wow, what an amazing course we're having.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Yoga Studies Institute. I'm Tanya, one of the meditation and yoga instructors here at YSI.
Hi everyone, my name is Chrissy. I'm an instructor with YSI and I'm very, very happy to be a part of the Yoga Sutra Chapter 3 course.
Thank you so much again, Geshe-la, for everything. We would like to take a moment to thank everyone who participated in our Instagram challenges, everyone who's here sharing this moment with us. The winners from yesterday, everybody that participated in Instagram yesterday wins a cooking class with Earl. We're going to learn how to make his famous chai recipe. So you will be getting information in your inbox if you did the last Instagram challenge. We have one last Instagram challenge of this course, and we would like you to please post or make a story about your personal vision about becoming your highest self. Let us know what that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like. How is it going to be for you when you are your highest self? Please tag Yoga Studies Institute, use the hashtag YSC3. And the prize for this challenge is you win a full scholarship to Yoga Sutra Chapter 4 coming August 22nd through September 2nd. So everyone, please save the date. August 22nd, we'll meet again for Yoga Sutra Chapter 4. If that's too far away for you and you don't want to wait till August, we don't want to wait till August either. Please join us for several of our offerings. We are having a Lady Naguma Foundation course in March, starting March 7th through March 31st. We would love for you to join us. Our landing page is being shared in the chat. We also have a discount code, YSC3. You get $75 off the Lady Naguma Foundation course if you sign up in 1 week. The coupon is good for 1 week. We would love to have you with us. Now, we would love to say a lot of thank yous, so please bear with me for a moment. We would like to thank, please, everyone on the Worldview production services. We have Tim, Ale, Francisco, and in one moment I will share a cute little PowerPoint so I don't use all of our time here. 1 second, because there's so many people to thank. Here we go. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, so we have our Worldview Productions. Thank you so much to Tim Lowenhout, Tatiana, Alona, Nikita, and Alejandro. Thank you to all of the live translators. The coordinator is Venerable Kadrin. Thank you so much for everybody who's mentioned here in the different languages. Thank you to the tech team, Francisco, for coordinating everybody and running that for us. Thank you to all of the marketing team, Sivan, Becky, Irina, Anna Lau, and Chi. We would like to thank our distributors, Raw Diamonds, Diamond Cutter Wisdom, Prana Moves, and DMO Yoga. We want to thank our diamond sponsors, Margie, Joe, and Brad, who are in studio. I hope that you had an amazing experience. Thank you to all of our YSI staff and teachers. We have our yoga teachers, meditation teachers, in-depth study, and Sanskrit. So thank you so much to Paola, Teresa, Chrissy, Alex, Benji, Tanya, Nicole, Nikita, Alexa, Earl, John Campbell, and Wordsmith. Thank you to our tech team, everyone who helped with videos, Bob Serino, our cousin Vinny Serino, Sergey, Osiris, our digital design team, Victor, and our social media team, Paola, Alona, Lorena, and Marina. Thank you all so much. Thank you to our volunteers in studio and online, Christina Kasica, Vimala, Juan, Ellie, Paulina, Anna Lau, and Tracy. We appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for helping us make this happen. We cannot do it on our own. Thank you so much to all of the attendees for coming to class. We are so happy to share this knowledge with you, and we hope to see you all very soon in our next courses. We will take a short break and come back with Sanskrit class with Dr. Wordsmith at 10 minutes to the hour. Thank you all so much. It's been a